Hey guys, hope your day is off to a great start. I want to talk to you about UFC 286. Now, I didn't get to watch the entire thing, but I watched three fights in particular. That was the fight between Marvin Vittori versus Roman Dolidze. Second one was Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Last but not least, we had the trifecta of Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Unforgettable fight. So, going back to the first one though, I have Marvin Vittori. He's coming off two losses, really tough losses. Went to final decision. It's against Robert Whitaker and Israel Adesanya, probably some of the best fighters in that division. So this was an opportunity for Marvin Vittori to fight an underdog, show he really belongs in that division. Though it's one of the top fighters, and he was going against a guy named Roman Dolidze. He's had an impressive start to his career thus far. His past four victories, he was all four of those. He was an underdog. So impressive works thus far. And in this fight, though, I got to see that Dolitze still has some work to do in terms of development. He came in with some heavy right hands, which we knew he had some power in those shots, but he showed that he really lacked the ability to use his kicking, or even like wrestling as takedowns. Vittori was able to evade pressure, and he used just enough kicking to land a lot more strikes on Dolitze. So it ended up going to a judge's scorecard, and Vittori won pretty handily. I definitely give him that one. Now going to our next fight, we had Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev came in very aggressive. We knew that this was going to be a striker shootout. Both guys love to hit hard, and we've seen Justin Gaethje like that kind of shootout mentality. Saw the fight with him and Michael Chandler. I mean, that was a brutal one. So we thought with Fiziev, and that's part of the reason why I think Gaethje was coming in as an underdog. Thankfully for him, though, he adjusted his strategy. Saw that he tried to evade some pressure. He didn't just get into a brawler's mentality like it seemed like Fiziev did. And he caught Fiziev looking with some just heavy shots. We didn't get to see the physical damage as much. Like, I remember he got cut on his face, I think like first or second round. But in the third round, you could see it really just pouring out. And it was looking absolutely ugly. I knew by towards the end of the second round that Gaethje's going to take this one. And I feel like a lot of people did too. So going back to our final fight, we have Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. It's a heavily talked about fight. Kamaru Usman faced him when they were very young in their career. That was their first fight. Won that one pretty handily. Now, this past year in Salt Lake City, they have their rematch. Kamaru was dominating that fight pretty early on, but Leon was able to just land one of those kicks, man, and completely change the course of that fight. He ends up becoming the champion of his division. So Kamaru's coming back for his rematch right now. It was gonna be a very hyped matchup, and it definitely proved to be that. Leon was back in his hometown, and you could see that this was a different Leon Edwards this time. Leon had a lot more confidence going into this fight. I think if you look at their second match, Leon just didn't have that confidence in him like he knew he could win. Now he saw that he won. He had that headshot. He knew that. And you saw the same thing with Kamaru. Kamaru was just a little slow, a little cautious because he remembered that kind of hit he took. So in that fight, if you watch that fight, it ended up becoming a judge's scorecard decision as well. Handily won by Leon Edwards. And what he did primarily was really utilize those leg kicks. Kamaru Usman understood that he was a better wrestler, and he tried to go for a couple takedowns. Leon had practiced his wrestling takedown defense and was able to stuff quite a few of them. The issue with Kamaru Usman right now, this late into his career, you can see the damage he's taking on his knees. It's really shot, he doesn't have that much power in his lower body anymore. That's why when he's going for those takedowns, it's mainly his upper body strength, which when you're going against like a UFC fighter, like you're going to need more than that. You're going to need your entire lower body. So tough for Usman. It's going to be interesting to see what the implications are after this, right? People are talking about the next matchups that are going to happen, especially in that very competitive division. In that 170-pound weight class, you have Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, Shavkat. I guess you can consider what's his name? Jorge Masvidal. He's got some beef. Leon Edwards. Usman's still in the race, and you got Hamzat. Although it's questionable whether he's going to go up to middleweight now, so who knows? But in that welterweight division, right? It definitely is interesting, and I going from the conversation Dana White had at his press conference, he seemed very sure that Colby Covington would be the guy going in afterwards to fight him, which has its controversies, right? Colby has not fought in a long time, and his last couple of fights have been losses. Right? I guess you consider a win against George Masvidal, who's not even like a ranked fighter. So I don't know if that counts. I mean, yeah, it it's definitely a snub to a guy like Bilal Muhammad, who is maybe not as flashy as Colby Covington, but certainly deserves to be in contention for something like that. Just write it off automatically like Colby's the guy. Didn't seem very fair to me, but we'll see. I think Colby could be a viable option. I think Hamza could be a viable option. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Now going for Usman, I think he won. I recommend he take some time to recover, which is why I know a lot of people are talking about him facing Chimaev. I can see that happening, but realistically speaking, not sometime in these next couple months. Usman's at that age where he's already had a very decorated career. He's had his accolades, and he really needs to give his body time to rest, or else he's just not going to be well prepared for that fight, especially going to beasts like Hamza. Terrifying stuff. So, interesting to see what the matchups are. I saw Leon Edwards say that he wouldn't fight Colby Covington, just considering that he hasn't built up the resume or done enough this year to warrant that kind of title fight. And yeah, good for him, man. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, though, UFC's been awesome this year. Can't wait for Israel Adesanya to go against Alex Pereira. That's gonna be a great fight. And until then, see you guys. All right, peace.